and Nick.
Welcome to That Superhero Thing podcast, where we discuss the latest superhero and comic book movies and TV shows. I'm your host Nick, and joining me, as always, the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony.
Hi.
How are you? You alright?
Yeah, I'm good after being picked up like
that?
that.
Did you like the intro? It was a good intro, wasn't it?
Loved it.
Anthony, I'm feeling a bit indifferent this week because, spoilers, I still can't decide if I liked this week's episode of What If.
I really enjoyed it.
I'm not 100%
gonna lie.
sure.
Aren't you?
No, I really didn't like it the first time, and then the second and third, I've got a little bit more into it, but I feel like I'm going to need to have a proper discussion with somebody and see if I liked it at the end.
Okay.
But you're just on board with it straight away, are you?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like a bit of a stretch with it being Killmonger, but apart from that, I was
a bit
okay with
far-fetched.
it. Yeah.
It was a bit.
It was,
a bit
yeah.
elaborate.
Yeah, it was, but within a couple of minutes, I understood the whys, the hows, and all of that kind of stuff as well. I got it. So I was like, okay, yeah, I can kind of believe that. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of. We'll break it down. We'll do
Okay.
it. That's not the episode over. Done.
Yeah.
Ta-da. See you later. That's how much of a man, a myth, and a legend Anthony is. He's finished the podcast in a minute and a half. So anyway, there is loads to go through on this week's show. So this week we'll be breaking down all the latest comic book movie news and some gaming news this week. We haven't done gaming news for a while, have we?
No, we haven't actually.
We've got loads, Anthony. Loads. We might need to change the name. That Superhero Gaming Thing podcast. We need to change it too. So we've got loads of gaming news. We're going to be talking the gaming announcements from Marvel at last week's PlayStation Showcase event. Movie news, we're going to be talking whether the Eternals is going to be showing up on Disney Plus Premier Access anytime soon. 4 new Marvel Studios movies coming in 2024. And the new trailer for Hawkeye. We need to break that down because that came out this week as well.
Which I've watched.
Have you? You've actually seen it? I'm impressed.
Watched it.
I'm impressed. Yes. We'll then be giving you our full breakdown and review of What If Episode 6 before discussing your thoughts and theories in another supersized Podfans Assemble, because it is massive this week and Anthony is panicking because there's like 40 of you who've sent your stuff in, which is great. This is also your spoiler warning. There'll be spoilers and speculation throughout the episode. If you'd like to skip past the gaming news or straight to the What If review or Podfans Assemble, we'll put timestamps in the description as always. Right, so gaming news to start. So last Thursday, Sony presented their PlayStation Showcase event. It actually streamed right while we were recording last week's episode, which was a bit of a pain in the
Terrible
ass.
timing.
So we just came out of the episode and there was all this news. So we basically sat there on YouTube for 15 minutes watching trailers. That was pretty much how it went. So there were some pretty big reveals in the stream. First one, Spider-Man 2 teaser trailer.
Looks so good.
Amazing. It didn't give loads away.
No.
Kind of showed us a few things.
Just enough, I think.
Just to get you excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? But it's not coming out till 2023, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. But we saw Peter and Miles in the trailer.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing we can play as both of them.
Well,
surely.
You'd hope so.
Surely. There is a Guardians of the Galaxy game where you can only play as one character.
I wonder whether it'll be like there's characters for each part of missions and stuff like that, or whether it's going to be you can choose who you play as.
You get slightly different stories.
Yeah.
Because then there's the replay value, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the thing with these games. I know
but
they do
then
the new Game Plus.
they might do it where it's focused on Peter Parker, but then have a Miles Morales DLC afterwards. So you never know.
Yeah, that would be really good. But I want to play more of him throughout the game because I like the extra.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it could be like each character will have certain things that they can and can't do, like unique skills.
So you need the Venom.
So there's going to be
stuff.
certain ones where you'll need one of them rather than the other for a mission or something like that. So there could be the fact that you can go between them throughout the whole game, but then it might be more focused on one of them, and then they'll release DLC that's on the other one. I don't know. I'm not.
Well, it does look like, because obviously we know Miles has got like the Venom powers, which is going to be a bit confusing now that there's a Venom in the game as well, because they call it the Venom Punch. But from the trailer, it looks like Peter's got Iron Spider arms on his suit.
Yeah.
But they look really like Doc Ock's arms, so I'm kind of wondering whether he's robbed them from Doc Ock after he beat him in the first game. Not like exactly like them, but they look the same sort of tech. Do you mean that mission that
I'm still stuck on 2 years later?
Yeah, because he still hasn't finished the game because he can't beat Doc Ock. He sat here last week.
I can't get out the lava. I can't stay in the air long enough.
It's being narrated by what sounds like Kraven, which would be good because you get Kraven in the game, and then at the end we see Venom.
Yeah.
Which, spoilers for the first Spider-Man game if you've not played it, but it's probably going to be Harry rather than Eddie.
Yeah.
Because we see Harry in the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that, don't you?
No.
No, well, you do now. You do now.
I didn't get to the end credits scene,
You didn't get
Nick.
the end credit scene. I thought you'd have watched it online.
No.
We also got the totally unexpected reveal of a Wolverine game from Insomniac.
Oh my God.
Again, there's not much to see. We just see Logan in a bar getting his claws out, but it sounds really dodgy, but we do. The graphics look amazing. They look so good. I thought at first it was going to be an add-on to the Avengers game, though. You know, that crap one that came out last year. I was a bit like, oh, this will be okay. But then I realised it's Insomniac who made Spider-Man PS4.
Okay.
Which means it'll be good. And apparently, it's also been confirmed that it's going to be a shared universe. So this Wolverine is in the same universe as Spider-Man PS4.
Amazing.
So we've got to get a crossover at some point.
Yeah.
It's got to happen. So Spidey is coming in 2023. There's no date for Wolverine yet, but if I had to guess, I'd probably say 2025, maybe?
Oh, God.
A couple of years?
I'll be so old.
I know, it's depressing, isn't it? It got me thinking, though, Marvel are quite clever with how they plan these things and release things. So I wonder whether if them releasing the Wolverine game
might come out at the same time as a Wolverine reappearance in the MCU.
Either TV show, which was rumoured months ago, or movie. Yeah, so, but again, we've got some more news on that in a bit.
Yeah.
Final bit of game news then. We also got a full story trailer for the Guardians of the Galaxy game, which was announced a few months ago now, I think. We see the Guardians meeting with some dude called the Grand Unifier, who basically worships someone with a plan to end all suffering and all grief in the universe, which is kind of pretty obviously just means he's going to destroy everything, because that's like what we always do, isn't it?
Sounds like Thanos.
It does sound a little bit like Thanos. Maybe it is Thanos. But basically he wants them to join this cult. The gameplay we see too, it looks quite good, but I'm still a little bit confused at the fact we can only play as Peter. We've got this team
it's a bit naff,
with all different, not powers, but different abilities, and we're only getting to play as Peter, which just seems a bit weird. The other thing that's maybe putting me off is it's made by Eidos Montreal, who helped make the Avengers game, which we said was a bit crap. And again, the fact that it's the same company makes me a little bit concerned as to how good it's going to be. Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure.
Seems like it's a bit too ambitious, seeing as how Avengers came out.
Yeah, maybe with it being like a smaller team, and the fact that they're now saying maybe it's a good thing that it's only Peter Quill. Because it's like we'd just focus on one character and we'll have good gameplay for one character rather than trying to have a complete roster of heroes, and it's just an absolute mess because they all have different fighting skills and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it. So done for the game news. Probably for another 6 months. Another 6 months. We might get some more. Well, I don't know when E3 comes out or something. So back to movie news then. Eternals.
Yes.
So a few weeks ago, we reported that Marvel were undecided on the release plan for Eternals after some comments from Kevin Feige rhymes with beige at the Shang-Chi premiere. Apparently, after Shang-Chi broke all kinds of records on its opening weekend, Disney have now got full faith in the Eternals performing just as well. And according to former Hollywood reporter, because that's what he did. He's what he did.
Hollywood reporter.
A guy called Matthew Baloney. Disney CEO Bob Chapek has decided that it will receive an exclusive theatrical release on the 5th of November, which is great because I feel like with this film specifically, it needs to be cinema. Ideally IMAX. This is not the film to be watching in your living room. Or on your phone or on iPad or something like that.
It's too big.
It needs to be a big screen at the end of the day with all the surround sound and stuff like that. We'll have to pick a different cinema to watch it in because the screen in Shang-Chi was crap. But that's not Disney's fault. I don't think. Might be. Sure it's not. Venom 2 news. There's been loads of Venom 2 news this week. I have changed the notes for Venom 2 news on this twice because more bits of news keep coming out. So before we get into it, right, we're not going to spoil anything. We know things. We think we know things. We've read things. But there was a fan screening in London on Tuesday. Had mostly positive reactions on social media. The full reviews aren't allowed to be released until the end of the month, but social media reviews are allowed out now. Our mate Ren, who was on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, he got to go and watch it.
Oh, did he?
Lucky bugger. He said on Twitter that the biggest strength of Venom Let There Be Carnage is its frantic pacing and exhilarating action, matching the kinetic energy Tom Hardy has with himself. Woody Harrelson is relishing as Cletus/Carnage and is perfect for the role. Oh my God, stay for the credits.
Oh, okay.
So we know there's a big post-credit scene. What it is, we think we've read things, but I'm not convinced that they're right. Tom Hardy did warn. I've written warn. It was a warning. He warned people in the audience not to ruin the mid-credit scene. Meanwhile, Andy Serkis was asked if Venom would ever meet Spider-Man, and he said, of course it's going to happen.
Why did they ask Andy Serkis?
Because Andy Serkis directed it.
Did he?
Did he? He did, yeah. Did you not know that?
Venom,
yeah. That's what we're talking about.
Oh,
You've not fell asleep for 15 minutes. We're still talking about Venom. Yeah.
I didn't realise it was Andy Serkis.
Well, what I'm going to do is...
I'm dead in the MCU now. How does that matter?
I'm going to Google it, check that I'm right, and if I'm not, I'll delete this bit. What I did find out this week, which I was a bit gutted about, is the release date. We laughed about it last week, and now Sony are getting us back. It's the 1st of October in the States. It's not coming out until the 15th of October still in the UK, which is a bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed with that.
A bit. So, the thing is, that means we've now got to survive 2 weeks without getting it spoiled for ourselves for definite.
It's not.
No, I know. And that's the bit that annoys me. If you've got something that's so global that you say and watch for the mid or end credit scenes and it's going to be something massive, release it all at the same time. Don't stagger them, because that's not fair.
I know. Do you know what? A couple of days is kind of all right. Even a week, I know, because I know sometimes we get things like 6 days before the States, which is all right for us, but it's a pain for them.
2 weeks is a long time.
2 weeks is a long time to believe in that. So hopefully I don't think they're going to rethink it now, are they? Hopefully we can just live under a rock for a fortnight and just...
I mean, I have been living under a rock anyway the last few weeks.
I know you have. You've been mad busy. Live action Marvel Zombies, maybe. We got the debut of the Marvel Zombies last week in What If, but obviously it was only animated. Mark Millar was quoted this week as saying, if my sources are correct, a little live action Marvel Zombies further down the line, but you never heard that from me.
Oh.
But I wouldn't be surprised if we got them in Doctor Strange too. Just like a glimpse.
Well, again, the thing is, Multiverse of Madness, you could get literally anything happening.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be so many different universes, so many different scenarios.
Yeah.
And it could just be a glimpse into something for all of about 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be anything.
It could literally just be Multiverse of Madness, looking through portals, and we see the live-action zombie universe. Yeah. We might even just get glimpses of all these multiverse universes that we've seen, and that would be like a bit of a taster to see. Yeah. See what people think, or 30 seconds of it, something like that. Talking about Doctor Strange, there's some rumours about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The Cosmic Circus is reporting that the sequel will take place 2 years after the events of WandaVision, and we'll see Strange and the rest of the sorcerers of Kamar-Taj trying to subdue her. So,
do you reckon?
I don't know.
I'm not.
It makes sense.
But if you think about it, aren't we still ahead at the minute?
Yeah.
Technically, because of the 5-year jump.
Yeah.
So everything else that's been coming out recently that's been leading up to the Multiverse of Madness has been literally months apart rather than years.
Yeah. So
everything can pretty much overlap each other.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't, to me, make sense to jump it 2 years and then that seems to be one of the big events.
And when we're going to see Doctor Strange in Spider-Man 3 is going to be straight after Far From Home, which was only like months after Endgame.
Yeah.
So maybe. Don't know. It makes sense though, because I think we do need to catch up. We do need to catch up time wise, and it makes sense that she'd be maybe like the villain, but not properly the villain. If you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I think she'll be the villain in like the first act, but then she'll join Doctor Strange when the real big bad of the movie emerges. Mephisto. And Mephisto pops out, and we all find it was all Mephisto all along. It's not going to happen, is it?
No.
Anyway, bit of news that came out today, I think. Denis Villeneuve, have you heard about this? Having a dig at Marvel?
No.
Have you not? You've clearly not been on Twitter today then.
No.
So Denis is out promoting Dune, because he's directing Dune, which is out October 22nd. He did an interview with El Mundo, and they asked him what he thought of superhero movies. And he said, there are too many Marvel movies that are nothing more than a cut and paste of others. He then told Premiere, which is another publication, that all of these films...
He's just filmed a remake
of Dune. I know, yeah. That's already been made twice.
Pot calling kettle black.
I'm quoting.
Sorry.
All of these films are made from the same mould. Some filmmakers can add a little colour to it, but they're all cast in the same factory. It doesn't take anything away from the movies, but they are formatted. He's not wrong, though, is he?
No, he's technically right.
But why has he said it?
Yeah.
There's no need, is there? It's like starting
a fight for having a dig for the sake of having a dig. Like,
I know.
And especially coming off the back of shooting a remake of something that's been done 3 times already.
Exactly.
Like, it's pot calling kettle black, innit?
Yeah, just a bit.
I don't...
But he's not wrong. We sit here and say every week the Marvel formula and talk about things. But it's not a bad thing.
No, it
works.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's
exactly
what you were going to say, innit?
Yeah.
Rob that.
Thanks. Cheers.
It's okay. But yeah, he's not wrong. But yeah, it's just, I think Marvel do enough to keep it fresh. And it's working. No one's ever done what Marvel have done. No one's ever created a cinematic universe.
And kept it at I mean, this is what, their 25th film? Shang-Chi?
Exactly.
And it's just smashed all of the records still.
Exactly, yeah. At
the end of a pandemic.
It's not going to do $1 billion, but that's because we're in a pandemic.
Yeah.
I feel like if it wasn't in the pandemic and had nothing to do with it, I think it would probably be a $1 billion movie.
Exactly.
But it's not, and it's not its fault. But you can't.
But clearly they're doing something right if they're still bringing in those kind of numbers. Exactly. That's the thing, isn't it?
Just ignore him. He's just trying to cause trouble. Just ignore him, people.
People only kick off about others when they've got like insecurities themselves.
Exactly. And he's making a film that's been done 3 times.
Exactly.
And he's just thinking, I'll just stir up.
Also using Marvel actors, can we just point out as well?
Yeah. Multiple.
Zendaya, tell him to sod off and come back to Spider-Man,
Oscar
please.
Isaac.
Yeah.
And Batista.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's thingy in it as well.
And technically, although it's not Marvel, it's DC, he's got Jason Momoa.
He's in it as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, superhero actors.
So...
What's he thinking?
Back off.
I found it quite funny just before we started recording. I was reading about this on Twitter.
Yeah.
And Neil Blomkamp, who is another director who directed District 9.
Yeah.
He quoted the... Don't do it. He quoted the tweet where it was reported on Denis Villeneuve, and he just wrote, "What a fucking arsehole." That's all it said. I was just thinking, why are you, as amazing as that is, why are you getting involved now?
Let's
stop fighting.
Isn't he doing District 10 now?
I don't know.
I'm
is
sure
that a real thing?
Yeah. Apparently, I don't know. I don't want to put this out on the podcast and be wrong, but
in the news section.
But I've heard that it's a thing.
Okay,
check it because I'm pretty certain.
And if it's wrong, I'm not going to remove it.
If it's wrong, I'll just do like an apologies corner next week.
Yeah, we will. In the description, we'll do a really tiny retraction, like size 3. Marvel Studios release dates. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
Marvel have announced 4 new release dates for 2024 for Untitled projects. So we've got February 16th, May 3rd, July 6th, and November 8th. So that is on top.
Oh, they've just given us dates, not.
Yeah, they've not given us movies.
Oh,
that's why I said Untitled. Clue was in the news title, Anthony. That's on top. That's on top of the 3 2023 release dates that I still haven't got titles either. So there's a July 28th, an October 6th, and a November 10th that still haven't got names on them. Basically, so that's 7 dated but no named Marvel movies still to come. It's expected that 2 of the 2023 ones are going to be Fantastic Four and Blade, because you know they're coming.
Yeah.
But what else is going to be there? I don't know. I'm thinking Deadpool 3.
Okay, yeah.
We know that's happening. The Mutants. Apparently that's happening. Richard Nebbins, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago, he was the guy who scooped that. Captain America 4, because we know that's coming.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi 2. Doctor Strange 3, maybe? What do you reckon?
Maybe.
Anything there that you think no chance, or anything you think, do you know what, I've forgot it?
No, I think you could be right.
I've read rumours as well that one of them for the late 2024 movie is going to be a Wolverine standalone movie, and that's going to be the first introduction.
No.
I agree.
No, I'm sorry.
But
we've had Wolverine, we've had Origins Wolverine, we've had Logan.
We don't talk about Wolverine Origins, aren't we?
No, well, it exists.
It does.
At the end of the day. It's there. Does. It's been put out there. There's a lot we don't want to talk about, but they still exist. So, quite frankly, stop doing Wolverine for 5 minutes.
I'm all right
Take
with
a break.
I'm all right with Wolverine, but
I'm fine with Wolverine.
Make him part of the team.
But start making standalone films for him. Like,
exactly.
We've had a mixture of successful and non-successful ones, but it's been done to death.
Exactly, yeah.
There's X-Men loads of people that have been really neglected. Do one of them.
Exactly.
They've all got good stories.
Don't need to be individual movies to team up. You can just do a team up with them. That's it.
I mean, do you know what? To be fair, do you know what would be cool?
What?
If they did one focused on Xavier
Cyclops
and him starting it all.
Cyclops.
And you just call it X. I think that'd be cool. Like I just think something like that would be quite cool because it can be an origin, but it's the team beginning rather than it being just somebody standing alone.
Something like Captain America: The First Avenger and Captain Marvel, sort of like prequel-y and
Yeah.
leading into present day.
Yeah.
Yeah, do something like that. Do you know what though? When I was reading about this and I was writing the notes for this, I'm sure on one of our very first podcasts we talked about news of there being a Wolverine anthology series coming to Disney Plus. Wasn't that a thing?
I can't even remember.
I'm not surprised.
Here's what I like. This is what I would do. I would do a film about Professor X.
Yeah.
Starting it all off. It's not really hinted to at what date it happens.
Okay.
And then at the very end of the film,
yeah,
the snap happens. And he has a thing in Cerebral Town. What's it called? Oh, my head just fell off. Cerebro is what I meant.
Yeah, I'm not editing that one out. Cerebral Town.
I'm so not here. Right.
Amazing.
In Cerebro, and all the lights just start pinging up and more mutants are coming up because like we've had loads of rumours that could be the thing that starts and it'd be really cool that if it's been kind of an underground thing for a little while and then so many more people are kind of becoming mutants that would be the end of the first film, and then you go because it's you've already had them introduced, but now this is like really introducing them.
Do we have to go at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm alright with that.
Tell me you haven't gone at the credit scenes for quite a lot of the Marvel films. Exactly. So there you go.
You know I have. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know what they're going to be. I'm excited to find out. I would imagine that when we get this Disney event in November, can't remember what it's called. We've got DC Fandom in October. We've got the Disney event in November. Yeah. Maybe we'll get some more reveals of at least what the 2023 ones are going to be.
Yeah.
Now that they've announced the 2024.
So Disney Marvel, if you're listening and fancy getting us some tickets to come up and see.
And flights to LA and all that sort of stuff.
Epic.
Yeah, we'll find time in our schedules, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Talking of events, so we know we've got the DC one, as I said. We know we've got Marvel. Now Netflix are doing their own event. Because we've got events for everything now. First thing is, what's going to happen to the likes of Comic-Con? Because Comic-Con was where all these companies came together to do these announcements. And now they're all doing them in their own events. And DC and Marvel are sort of like forgetting about Comic-Con and not going. Does make you worry about things like that though, doesn't it? Yeah. It's not going to be the big place for events anymore and it's going to sort of like fall by the wayside. Anyway,
yeah, it's a bit sad.
Anyway, so Netflix's event is called Ta-Dum. You know, like Ta-Dum when it starts. That was good, that! I'm impressed with
Do you know what that's supposed to be?
No.
The door closing.
Is it?
Netflix's sound, the da-dum, is supposed to be your door closing so that you can sit down and chill.
My ta-dum was better. Anyway, that's on the 25th of September. There's going to be lots of reveals. So the ones we're interested in are things like Stranger Things.
Oh, yes.
Cobra Kai. You've still not seen it. You need to watch it.
I've still not seen Karate Kid, so...
Umbrella Academy.
I can't wait for that.
Cannot wait for that either. Army of Thieves. And apparently Zack Snyder's going to be there. So I wonder whether we might get Army of the Dead sequel info as well.
Oh, maybe.
That'd be good. The Witcher. I've not seen the first season
of
The Witcher.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I need to get that watched. I don't think I'm going to squeeze the whole thing in before the 25th of September. I might do. I'll have a go. We'll cover it all on the podcast. Not on next week's show because we'll be dropping the show on the 25th, but we will be live tweeting and we'll cover it in the following week as well. Last bit of news before we move on to the Hawkeye trailer. Bit of DC news. We haven't had any DC news this week. There's a Penguin TV series coming to HBO Max. So it's from Matt Reeves, who's directing The Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
And it's expected to be a spin-off of that new movie and centred around a young version of Colin Farrell's Oswald Cobblepot. Got it out in the end. Basically rising through the ranks of Gotham's criminal underworld. But it's not known whether Colin Farrell's going to play the Penguin in it.
Do you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I would have happily watched a Penguin spin-off with, I can't remember his name, the one that played Penguin in Gotham.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember his name.
I thought he was fantastic.
I have not finished Gotham.
I really enjoyed him in it. He was so cowardly at the same time as being manipulative, and I just loved it. I thought it was so clever.
Very different take on it though, wasn't
it?
Yeah,
completely. So dark and smutty and stuff, but I really enjoyed.
No, I mean like Penguin. It's like you don't. Yeah. He was like Nivelly, and he's a bit of a rough gangster, as I've always seen him. Like he is in the Arkham games. Yeah. That's how I've always sort of viewed Penguin. But the bits that I think I watched the first 2 series of Gotham. Yeah. And I sort of lost interest in it. But I can't remember the guy's name.
He just got so much better as the series went on as well.
Yeah.
Like I really, really enjoyed the whole, like, everything about him.
Well, we've got loads of different DC universes, so we might
never know.
Just because we're getting this Penguin spin-off doesn't mean we're going to get another Penguin spin-off. Right, last bit of news, the Hawkeye trailer. Should we talk about the Hawkeye trailer? So excited for this. It's Christmas for a start.
Right, can I just say, I feel like it's Marvel mixed with Jingle All the Way or something.
Yeah, that's what I think people said.
It totally just feels...
It had that sort of sort of vibe, doesn't it? I mean, I wasn't massively excited for this. For Hawkeye, I was kind of being like, oh, this one feels like a filler. Yes.
Whereas now that I've seen the trailer for it, I'm actually quite excited for it.
Marvel know how to do a trailer.
Yeah,
This has just got me so hyped for it. And again, the fact that it's set at Christmas and it's just got that comedy vibe to it, hasn't it?
And I love it's about the fact that he's trying to be home for Christmas.
I didn't even twig onto that.
Didn't you?
Yes. No,
because he talks to the family and he's like, I know I've been away a lot, but I'm going to be home for Christmas kind of thing.
And then he says to his wife over the phone, I'll be home in a couple of days, 1-2 days max.
Yeah.
It's going to be Hawkeye getting home for Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Should we break it down?
It's going to be like a Marvel Die Hard, isn't it?
Marvel. Do you know what? We've got some comments for Podfans Assemble, which we'll go through at the end, but there's a few people who've compared it to like Die Hard, a mix between Die Hard and Jingle All the Way, which is absolutely nailed it. Let's break it down then. So first, can we start off with the biggest reveal of the trailer? Rogers the Musical.
Oh my God.
I need to see it. I need to watch
As
Rogers
somebody
the Musical.
who's obsessed with musicals, I got so excited, and I've seen someone on TikTok that's slowed it down and zoomed into each individual character, and they all look amazing. They look so similar.
There's people
like it's so good.
There's people who reckon that the Thor guy on stage is Chris Evans. Not Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it does look a little bit like him, but I think it's a bit of a reach.
It'd be funny if it was, though.
It would be quality, but you just never know. It's just the spit of him, and you just never know. If Disney don't release a 15 to 30 minute version of this on Disney Plus at Christmas, they are missing a trick.
It'd be so funny.
I think people would subscribe. If anyone's not, I mean, who's not subscribed to Disney Plus, but I think that'd probably get properly.
What do you want to say, mate?
I don't know.
Tell us.
I think it'd definitely get people on board.
Good save.
Anyway, so Kate Bishop, first time we see Kate Bishop in action.
Like how they've introduced her.
I do.
I like that they're going down the route of the samurai version of him that was going mental during
Ronin.
What?
Ronin.
That's
what his character's called. He's not Hawkeye when he's in that.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Ronin, and I was like, he wasn't in it.
No, not Ronin the Accuser.
It just totally threw me then. I was like,
Ronin, that's Ronan.
Their outfit didn't look that similar, did it?
This is Ronin. This is Ronin. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So that's like the. I don't think he's ever named in the movie, but that's the character that he is when he basically wears all that gear when he's got the samurai sword.
But as I say, I like that. That's how it's been. Like how we're introducing her.
So she's kind of like she's seen him and she's kind of like, copycat. She's obviously like a massive Hawkeye fan because like when she sees him she's like and oh my god, you're Hawkeye. So she's proper like just trying to copy him and just basically be him, isn't she?
Yeah.
I like the way that they've gone down the route of, and I know we talked about the Marvel formula, but the goofy but lovable but badass. Because that's clearly what she's going to be.
Yeah.
She's definitely going to be the comedy element of the show. Yeah. But at the same time...
And he's just going to be that worn-out dad type.
Yeah.
Isn't he? Like, that's how it's going to play. Because it's a Christmas film as well. So there's always going to... It's going to be that dad-daughter dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, quite powerfully, probably. But I'm all for it.
I am. And I think they've made him look a little bit more goofy and a bit more fun. Because I feel like they've not really known what to do with Hawkeye.
Yeah.
But the best bits of Hawkeye, in my opinion, are the bits when he's been a bit goofy. Like in Age of Ultron, when he was like having like the banter with Quicksilver, and he runs away and he's like, I could do it now. No one would know that I'd shot him. And that's the good bit of Hawkeye. Yeah. So they need to give him a bit of time.
Do you know, I saw someone on TikTok that had done a thing saying, I'd love to see a film with Yelena and Wanda fighting side by side. And they said, but they're so random, they've got nothing in common. Oh, except that both their brothers died saving Clint Barton. And I was like, ooh.
Yelena's brother?
Sorry, not brother, sibling.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
And I was like, oh God,
I've got something in common. Yeah, fair play, they have. Well, Yelena's going to be in this. She's confirmed to be in this series, but we've not seen her in the trailer yet. I don't know why, because we all know she's going to be in it. I feel like they're trying to like hide it by not putting her in there, but I wonder how the dynamic's going to go, because she's obviously going to be out to kill him. Yeah. She's got to be.
Does that mean we'll get a bit more of a Madam Hydra then as well?
Hopefully, yeah. I think the dynamic between Haley Steinfeld or Kate Bishop and Yelena, I'm really keen to see that. Yeah. Because they're going to like hate each other. Because it's going to... I feel like maybe Hawkeye won't want to fight Yelena because he understands why she's upset. Yeah. And he doesn't want to kick off on her. But Kate Bishop will just be like, no, you're not touching him.
Yeah,
he's like,
my idol.
Basically. So I think that'll be quite an interesting fight. We also
do you reckon Yelena as a thing to Black Widow will adopt the thing that she hates?
What the drop and the pose? Hopefully, yeah. Then we'll see like that she's still like not completely okay with it. But I
still want to see her get up and go afterwards. Like that'd just make me howl. But she has to do it now.
She has to.
Yeah.
We also got a very brief look at Alakwa Cox as Maya Lopez, who's going to be Echo.
Okay.
So we got a very, very quick shot of her, like in red light. Yeah. And we also saw from the comics Lucky the pizza dog, who is the dog on the sofa. That's Hawkeye and Kate Bishop's dog friend in the comics, who apparently is like hard as nails in the comics. He can like proper put up a fight. He's not like got like a gun or anything like that.
Nobody move.
He's a very well trained. He's a very well trained but aggressive dog. Story wise, it doesn't give massive amounts away, but it looks like there's a group of gangsters who in the comics were known as the Tracksuit Mafia after Kate or Hawkeye, and he's basically going to have to take her under his wing. Get it? Because he's a hawk.
I like that.
Under his wing, and basically teach her how to be the next Hawkeye. Really, that's going to be it, isn't it? We've already said, so we didn't see Yelena in the trailer, and potentially there's big rumours that Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin is going to be back in this. This is going to be his reintroduction from Daredevil.
I've heard this before as well.
Into the MCU. Apparently he's going to be like a variant of his Daredevil character. So it's not going to be the same one. They're not going to be in the same universe. Yeah. But basically just a variant. But he's going to be a lot more larger than life, they've said. Because he's quite, in Daredevil, I know you've not watched it, he's scary. He's a scary dude, but he's very like quiet and reserved at the same time.
I think that can be scarier sometimes.
I do, but I feel like it'd be quite interesting. We've seen that now. This is the beauty of having potentially a variant. He
can be more aggressive.
We can have that one, and we'll always have that version of him in Daredevil. But then he's going to get to go crazy Kingpin as well. So I think that'll be really interesting to watch. Really looking forward to it though. November 24th.
Yeah,
it's out. Can't come quick enough. Not that do I want What If to be finished now?
I do a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of.
The thing is, like, because I keep saying I do enjoy it every single week, but it's just I don't even know how to put it into words. I think it's because there's no big arc.
Is it
as
because
much as
it's
I've
not
wanted
the Marvel
break?
Formula?
I don't know. Maybe.
Like we said today, there's no cliffhangers at the end of each episode. Yeah. There's nothing that gets you hooked for next week's episode in this.
No.
Apart from the fact that we hope that there's going to be a crossover at the end.
Yeah,
that's the thing, isn't it? Are we done with Hawkeye then? Should we get into?
Should
we get into
Let's
What
do
If?
It.
Right, What If episode 6? Spoilers from here on out for the episode. So it's What If Killmonger rescued Tony Stark. Except he didn't really, because he killed him halfway through the episode. He didn't really rescue him.
Spoilers!
I said spoilers! Can we just start with the fact that Tony now has appeared in 3 episodes of What If so far, and he's either died or been dead in all of them.
Yeah.
And in this one, he died twice.
Yeah.
We literally saw Tony die twice. And I get that they couldn't get Robert Downey Jr. back, but I mean, give him a bit more screen time. He had a decent amount of screen time in this one, but I don't get why we need to keep killing him off. Maybe it's all part of the story. So like how Christine dying in the Doctor Strange episode was a fixed point in time. Maybe Tony dying is a fixed point in time, and therefore it doesn't mean what universe we go to. He always has to die.
Yeah.
And he's just dying at different times, but maybe he always has to die before.
But the big difference with this is he's died before having a kid.
He has, in all of them.
In all of them.
So maybe Morgan's not supposed to exist.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, this is something else. Just very quickly, just on a tangent.
Go on. Because that's what we do every episode.
TVA took Loki because he wasn't supposed to take the Tesseract.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does that mean that Steve and Tony were never supposed to go back to the 70s?
No, they were supposed to go back to... Oh, yeah.
Because they wouldn't have needed to get the Tesseract because that was a bit that was wrong.
Mind blown.
Yeah, so...
If he was never supposed to take that Tesseract, then they shouldn't have gone back to the 70s. But what did they really change in the 70s?
Well, it just depends on if Steve did put it back in the right place. If he took it back to the 70s and put it back there.
Or maybe... we kind of know from Loki, though, that Kang, or the good version of Kang, whatever we're going to call him, he planned this whole thing out. So he must have originally planned for Loki to take the Tesseract. So it must have been part of the plan.
But if he did, then why would the TVA have gone for him?
Because that was his plan.
Oh.
Kang, remember at the end, he said at the end of Loki, he said, this has all been part of my plan. I know everything that's going to happen up until this moment, and then he reaches the moment. So that whole thing, Loki and Sylvie fighting against the TVA and all that sort of stuff, that was all part of his plan. So his plan all along, unbeknownst to the TVA, was for Infinity War and Endgame to happen, but also Loki get taken by the TVA. We've gone off a tangent.
Okay,
but
sorry. Yeah.
It was a good point. I like that. I enjoyed that discussion, Anthony. Thank you very much.
No worries.
I like it when you
I'm here all week.
I know, yeah. Anyway, so talking about Tony then. So he's obviously not been voiced by Robert Downey Jr.
No.
Because we couldn't get him back. So he's been voiced by a guy called Mick Wingert, who I think's done a terrific job so far, to be fair. Especially in the short time he's had.
The flair in his voice. I don't know how else to put it.
I know what you mean.
But it's that level of arrogance that's not enough to piss you off.
Lovable.
Yeah.
He's a lovable rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think he's hit that perfectly, to be fair.
I would agree. There were moments in it when I thought he sounded exactly like Robert Downey Jr. Not all of it, but he's not going to because he's not Robert Downey Jr. But yeah, I think he did a really good job. So we'll come back to characters anyway, and then let's talk about the story a bit. So what did you think of this week's episode? You liked it.
So yeah, I liked it. As I said to you before, I think it was a little bit far-fetched, but I liked the elements that it brought to it. I liked that it was, I don't know, just like everyone's still got the same main objective. Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
But it's been brought about in a different way, and that's what I quite liked about it.
I feel like it just went proper off. I feel like with this episode, it was like a mix between the other two types of episodes that we've had. So we've had one type of episode so far this series where it was pretty much the same story and one little thing changed things a little bit.
Yeah.
So like Captain Carter, I know obviously it changed a lot because she became the Captain America instead of Steve, but it still followed the same story.
Yeah.
And then we've had other episodes like Marvel Zombies and the T'Challa Star-Lord episode where it just completely went off on a completely different story. And I feel like this was kind of like a mix between the two.
Yeah.
Because it kind of followed the timeline to a degree, but just changed loads of events. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't know how I felt about it. And I think the biggest issue was because it was trying to do so. I think if it had gone off its own story, it wouldn't have had to cram so much in. And likewise, if it had stuck to the same story and changed a couple of elements, again, it wouldn't have had to try and cram loads of stuff in. But I think with this, because it tried to do too much, it really struggled with pacing. And I know that's a criticism that a lot of people have had so far, but I've never really been bothered by it up until now, and I just think they've tried to put so much into it that it just felt a little bit too rushed. Like it felt like Killmonger was just killing people every 2 minutes, which he was, but it came across that way in the story to the point where like at one point Pepper says 3 people have died really quickly and you're at the center of all the deaths, and it's like, well, isn't this glaringly obvious, like it is to her and to Shuri, that it's blatantly Killmonger because it's just too quick, and it all seems it's all too perfect. And I think that's the other thing I had a bit with it as well. It was, and you said it was a bit silly and a bit far-fetched, the whole plan. And I know it's the Marvel universe and there's zombies and all that sort of stuff, but Killmonger's entire master plan relied on people making decisions that were completely out of his control. So like Tony making him head of security and COO of Stark Enterprises. and building him a Gundam
But do you
suit.
not think that, so because Killmonger's done this way round, do you not think that, and because he knew exactly where Tony was going to be and all of that kind of stuff, because this is what we find out.
Yeah.
He's gone to find him. How much has he stalked him to the point where he would know how to manipulate him?
Yeah.
He knows that Tony is led by making the newest thing.
Yes.
And, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So he knows that he makes decisions on a whim. Like, he doesn't really give two thoughts about it. He just goes, yeah, let's do that, because it sounds awesome at that moment.
Yeah.
So obviously the fact that he saved him and all of that kind of stuff already puts him in a good light. But then how quickly he managed to manipulate him into making these robots.
Yeah, but that's the issue, how quickly it was. I think if we'd had an hour and a half episode and he'd worked him and we'd seen him working Tony and manipulating him like you just said,
yeah,
I'd buy it more. But it was like 30 seconds for the story that we saw.
Yeah.
He's gone from becoming
but
head
then
of
I,
security.
but then I still wouldn't put that past Tony.
I would. I just feel like it was too elaborate, and it was very much reliant on stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that he wouldn't have any control over. I mean,
Yeah.
Tony could have he could have saved Tony's life, and Tony could have gone, thanks, you're absolutely amazing, you're a legend, here's $10,000, see you later. And it would have been, oh shit, what do I do now? The fact him making him head of security and COO of Stark Enterprise just felt like it wasn't completely impossible for that to happen because of what Tony's like, but it's just a bit too elaborate and it's not definite that was going to happen. For it all to be part of his master plan. And even like the fact that this dude designed a Gundam suit, because I'm going to keep calling it a Gundam suit. He designed this whole suit in university as part of a doctoral thesis.
I did love that though, by the way. What? I like anime.
No, I know it was good, but it just felt elaborate. I mean, I didn't hate the whole thing. I just felt like the pacing just threw me off. Couldn't sort of get into it?
You know, when you saw all the robots lining up before getting on the planes.
Yes.
Did you think of Clone Wars?
No.
You know, from the first bit when it's like zoomed out and it's looking down from inside the hangar.
Yeah.
And then you just see the rows of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it just properly gave me Star Wars vibes.
It did a bit, didn't it, actually thinking about it? Yeah. I didn't pick up on it, but I do get what you're saying.
Yeah. As soon as I saw it, I went, oh, Disney.
That's it. It's Disney. It's Disney, isn't it? Disney.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan then, I thought he was great all the way through. Again, even though it was a rush character, I thought his performance was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing having him back in the MCU. He was such an interesting character in Black Panther. And I think it's a proper shame that they chose to kill him off at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
I would have, though, liked to see him more good, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or not good because he was a bad guy and he's obviously been brought up in a bad situation.
Yeah.
But even as like a reformed villain.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could get that in the crossover.
Yeah,
I suppose. We might the Watcher might come down and say there's bigger things here, and he might end up becoming a reformed villain off the back of that. But I want more of Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. I think he's one of the better MCU villains that we've had.
Yeah.
But he's the prime sort of character to become a reformed villain fighting on the side of the good, like Bucky. He is, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's kind of like a Bucky. Should we go through?
To an extent, Wanda.
Yeah,
because Wanda started off as an agent of Ultron.
Yeah, she did.
And then she was like, "No, this is too much. This is ridiculous. We can't be a part of this anymore." And then now we're having that battle with her all over again of where she stands.
Yeah,
and it's not because she's a good or a bad person. It's because her story has led her to these moments, like her grief, her loss, you know, all of that kind of stuff has all led her to this. And that's why you enjoy it more, because you don't want them to win, but you also don't want them to lose.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And you're kind of having a battle in your own mind as well about it. Yeah. But I love it.
No, it's good.
I prefer villains like that.
Yeah. No, I do. A bit more complex.
Yeah.
It's what you want, isn't it? Where you don't know whether you want
it's
to
like,
or not.
Best way to describe it's like a lion killing a gazelle in the nature documentaries. It's that kind of thing, innit?
That's a very good analogy. That.
Thank you.
Anthony.
Thanks.
Should we go through Killmonger's hit list then?
Yes.
So the first murder or murders was the ambush at Claw's factory. It's a factory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Was it a factory?
Factory warehouse
Factory
thing.
warehouse type thing. That sounds like a shop. Factory warehouse. Come down to the factory warehouse. Chicken dinosaurs, £1.
All I can think of is SNL now. Chicken from the Chicken Man.
I was really surprised to see T'Challa. I didn't expect him to show up. Even when we knew that basically the Wakandans were coming in, I didn't expect it to be
I
T'Challa.
just love hearing those drums every time. Or I don't. Are they drums?
I don't know.
I don't. But the you know that.
I know exactly what you mean now.
As soon as I hear it gets me excited all over again, and I'm like, I love it.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds. It's like, do you remember like how we felt when the Wonder Woman music always kicked in Justice League?
Oh yeah.
It's that kind of thing.
Not that into DC, but no.
No.
What you mean.
But like in Justice League, every time that music was in, we were like really feeling it at those moments.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of thing, and I just absolutely love it.
Yeah. I was a bit gutted I wasn't a bit gutted. I couldn't believe that they just killed him off that quick.
I was like, I was in my head. I was counting 1, 2, 3. So this is the fourth time we see him, isn't it?
Third.
So we do see him one more time.
We've got one more.
Okay, because I was going to say, if this is the last time we see him, and that's how they've ended it.
I know.
I was like, I'm not
but
feeling that.
We did see him on the ancestral plane at the end, so I suppose it would have been an alright.
Yeah, which I did really like.
It would have been an alright place to end it.
And I'm not going to lie to you, I got totally choked up when his mum was fighting, and she shouted for T'Challa, and I was like...
No, I know. That was rough, that was rough.
I really struggled, I'm not going to lie.
So who else did we get? So Rhodey. So we got Don Cheadle back.
Yeah, love that. As soon as he came on, I was like, yeah, that's defo Don Cheadle.
But again, I was shocked when they killed him off.
Yeah.
And the fact that Erik then played it off to both sides, that both Rhodey and T'Challa were murdered by the other one. It was so evil, but so clever.
Yeah.
He just completely played this whole thing out. And that's why Klaus says I wouldn't want to play chess against you, my boy, or something like that.
Yeah.
He's absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
Evil genius. So Tony was the next murder then. We've already talked about the fact that he's died twice. But let's talk about the mech fight. So that was boss.
The mech fight.
Mech versus mech. It was mech versus Killmonger. But
yeah.
It showed what a force he is, just proper force to be reckoned with. Although I suppose he could have just known its weak spots because he designed it.
Yeah.
Or do you think he's just hard as nails?
I think it's a mixture of the two.
At this point, is he?
No, he's not. He's just. But then again, look at all the kills that he's got on his body still. That's not changed.
He's probably on the same level as like Black Widow, isn't he?
Yeah,
she's not enhanced in any way, is she?
No.
But yeah, that was good.
It's using others' weakness to your gain. That's how they tend to fight in it. So I really enjoyed that fight. I
thought it was good.
I thought it was very good.
Two things about the scene though. Firstly, I did expect Tony to suit up. When he was sort of saying like,
but he doesn't have a suit, does he?
No, I know, but I thought he'd have made the suit the mech into a suit.
Did you?
For a split second, I was like, he's going to get in something. It's basically going to be an Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit gutted when he didn't do that. But this is another bit where I had a bit of a problem with it. And it felt like a little bit, maybe a plot hole to a degree, or maybe just on the ridiculous side. And I've already mentioned it. The whole fact that this mech was designed by Killmonger.
Had he designed the mech, or had he designed a mech? Do you know what I mean?
He designed.
So did he design how it was going to work and stuff, or was he just designing the shape and the movements of it, and then it was Tony's input that made it the mech? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. But then I thought, is it all part of the ruse? And did he not invent it in college? Did he not invent it when he was university? And he's basically put this together with Claw, and he's planted it because it's all part of the plan.
Yeah.
But then I thought, surely Jarvis would have got onto that.
Yeah.
Because Tony said, Jarvis, go and check the whatever university dissertation files from however many years ago. Surely Jarvis would come back and go, actually, this has been here a week.
Yeah.
But so it just felt a little bit, and I've used the word already, elaborate.
Yeah.
It did. But the fight, as we said, the fight was really cool. R.I.P. Tony, again. Again. I thought it was quite funny as well when he was talking about the arc reactor, and he's like, what if we make a miniaturized arc reactor?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that'd be a dumb idea. The last victim then, we've already talked about him, was Claw, Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Absolute legend.
Brilliant.
Another character who I completely loved in the movies.
Yes.
And was gutted when he was killed off, because I feel like he was a prime character to just constantly be coming back.
Yeah.
And maybe get less and less intimidated every time because they've beat him so many times.
Do you know, I'd have been absolutely thrilled if instead of Sharon, we'd found out he was the...
that would have been cool.
Like
broker.
he hadn't died and he was the power broker.
See, I
because he
feel
was
like...
still doing black markety stuff. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Like that would have been amazing.
I think it'd be good though to have him as like the character who just like pops up at the start of a random character's movie, and he's like the dude that gets beaten in the first 15 minutes because he's just getting more, and every movie gets more and more ridiculous to the point where like the 10th appearance he's just a head and the rest of him's a robot. Like he's got an extra arm and an extra robotic leg, and he ends up in as like a mech with a head, the human head on top
in a jar, like
something like that. No, like in a mech.
Okay.
His entire body's a robot and he just gets wiped out by like Shang-Chi and Shang-Chi the sequel or whatever. But yeah, I'm gutted that we've lost him. It was the only death that I saw coming, because it didn't, and they weren't massive surprises. Like, Tony's wasn't a massive surprise because we've seen him die all the time. I said T'Challa was and Rhodey was, but this was the only death I saw coming. But I kept predicting it earlier than it happened.
Yeah.
Basically, every time they talked, Killmonger and Claw, I expected Killmonger to kill him. And by the time he did kill him, I was like, it's not going to be this time, because they've teased us all the way through. So it did surprise me a little bit. Should we talk about the final battle then?
Yeah.
So we've already mentioned it a little bit. This was epic.
It was brilliant.
It looked amazing.
Yeah.
And this was the bit that probably won me back round. Even on the first viewing, when I didn't really enjoy it all the way through. Yeah. This was the bit that got me kind of like, oh, okay, maybe this is a good episode. But I still just had like a bit of a bad taste in my mouth from the rest of the episode. Yeah. But it was great. I think, again, similar to what we said about the Strange versus Strange fight in episode 4, I think it was. Yeah. I was so impressed with the fight, or choreography, can we call it? Yeah. Because it's animated. Yeah. And as we said, it must be so hard to make an animated fight scene look that good when you've got to come up with the whole thing.
Watching T'Challa's mum fighting.
She was
and that moment
so
she threw
good.
the spear through two of their heads and then just dived on top of it and just yanked it straight up. I was like, yes, loved it.
She was 100% the MVP of the episode. But surprisingly as well.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know she was head of the
Dora Milaje.
The Dora Milaje,
Neither did I.
I didn't know that. I don't think it was very apparent in Black Panther.
When he said, because when T'Challa's dad, T'Chaka, said to her, what do you think, General? Yeah. I kind of thought, is he being sarcastic here? And then you saw her suited up, ready to go into the fight, and I was like, no. Yeah. Surely not. She absolutely kicked ass.
I know.
She was amazing. I loved it. Loved everything about it.
Can you imagine Angela Bassett doing that?
Oh, I'd be so
I'd be hooked.
But the thing is, they could easily I know she's older now, Angela Bassett, but she still does that. You know, some of the stuff that she's done in the past.
Mate, I know they've not been massively active in kind of actiony arms, like running around and doing movements and choreography and stuff. But even in American Horror Story, when she was in that, you know, she was playing a voodoo witch and stuff like that, and she was in big fight scenes and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So she could well pull it off.
So she can hold her own.
Maybe.
Definitely.
Because we're getting the Okoye series on Disney Plus. Yeah. I think I've heard that might be a bit of a prequel.
Right, okay.
So maybe we'll see her being trained by T'Challa's mum, and we'll see more of like badass.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Queen based. Oh, that'd be so good. We need to see more of that. Yeah, she was so 100%. Good. And like you said, that last shot where she raised the spear after she like snapped it out the two, and
then she shouted for T'Challa. Honestly,
that was rough to watch. But it was, and you know what? Such a good performance. She absolutely nailed it.
I'm gonna be totally welled up at that point. I was like, oof.
It was raw. I think I was still a little bit put off by the episode, but I completely get you. Yeah.
I think it was just because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
Because we hadn't mentioned T'Challa or anything apart from, you know, I think that his dad talked about him before the fight even started.
Yes, yeah, he did.
But then for her to just shout that kind of midway through the battle, I just went, ooh, because I just wasn't expecting it. It just gave me goosebumps.
So rough though, isn't it? Because he killed him.
Yeah.
Killmonger killed him.
And do you know what? That got me angry.
Yeah.
That got me so angry when he's
sitting there
like, and his dad's like my nephew and hugging him, and I'm like, stop it,
you bastard.
Yeah.
You did this.
Yeah.
You caused all this. And then he got what he wanted, didn't he? He became the Black Panther, and he got to look out over Wakanda and see the sunrise, with the Watcher looking over him as well.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
And did you see like the look on the Watcher's face? He looked a bit upset.
Yeah.
He had like I don't know. He just looked. He normally like got a completely blank expression.
Yeah.
But he looked like he was squinting a
like
little
everything
bit.
was furrowed a little bit and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Like he wasn't happy that this was where the episode had ended, basically.
Yeah.
Or this is where the timeline had ended. Talk about the Watcher then. So again, not as involved as he was in some of the previous episodes.
No, but we're seeing more detail of him again.
He's closer, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
He's much closer.
He's closer, and we're seeing more detail of him.
So he's full colour in this episode.
Yeah.
And last episode
he's
was
opaque as well.
Yes.
This time.
Yeah.
Whereas he was a bit translucent last time.
He was completely transparent basically last time, yeah. So he's getting closer to the action.
Yeah.
But it's got to be built into this crossover. So the mid-season trailer came out earlier in the week. Did you see the mid-season trailer?
No, I haven't seen that.
Do you want me to tell you about it?
Go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to because it's a podcast. So the mid-season trailer, there are shots of people coming together. So there's a shot of Doctor Strange Supreme talking to Party Thor.
Okay.
And Party Thor going, zombies cool, or something like that.
Yeah.
There's Gamora, Captain Carter, and Black Widow all fighting together alongside each other.
Okay.
The biggest one is there's a shot of Pepper with a gun and Shuri running into Wakanda.
Oh, okay.
So there must be some sort of follow-up to this story.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully it's this series.
Yeah.
And it's not all like, we're going to tease you with stuff for series 2.
Yeah.
But we've got to be getting this crossover.
Yeah.
It's got to happen. But I think we need it now. I feel like they're dragging this out too long.
Yeah.
We need to get it sooner. I think they're in danger if they leave this right till the end of the series for like episode 9.
Yeah.
Because
I wonder.
like
I do wonder
people.
what the ratings are like at the minute. You know, whether people have dropped off already.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be surprised at this point.
No. Even, I mean, we're clearly massive superhero comic book movie fans, Marvel fans in particular, to the point where we're running a podcast, and even I'm getting a bit like, I want to watch it because it's Marvel, but
yes,
God, I hope we get something a bit better this week. And I've enjoyed most of the episodes, some more than others, like a lot of people have.
Yeah.
But if they don't give us a link next episode, I'm gonna start getting to the point where I'm a bit annoyed now.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it needs to happen. We need like, because that is, we've mentioned it loads of times, in this episode. That's the Marvel formula.
Yeah.
They get you with a post-credit scene, and
Yeah.
they get you hooked for the next episode. And even on the episodic content that they've done so far, every episode still had that. Every episode of WandaVision, to a degree, ended on a cliffhanger. Maybe not episode 1, but they were okay with that because they released episode 1 and 2 in the same week.
Yeah.
So they got away with it, and that's probably why they released episode 1 and 2 in the same week.
Yeah.
Loki did, Falcon and the Winter Soldier did. This just hasn't done it.
No.
And I think that's what's got people thinking, I'm not that bothered
Yeah.
about next week's show. Before we wrap up on it then, the last shot of the Watcher, this got me. Because firstly, it was him in space again, rather than being close. And it was just what he said, and I read into it quite a lot. He said, heroes are never really gone. They live forever, as do the ones they inspire to carry on the fight. And it got me thinking, what's he talking about? Is it a little bit of an homage to Chadwick Boseman?
Yeah. It sounds like that
sounds
from
a bit.
off the bat. But does it also sound like a little hint of Shuri?
Maybe, yeah. See, I thought it's either Chadwick, it's a clue to what's coming further in the series.
Yeah.
So maybe some of the dead people aren't dead that we've seen die, like Doctor Strange, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, is it a bit of a symbol for the future of the MCU?
Yeah.
Because we've lost the heroes, haven't we? We've lost Tony, we've lost Steve, and is this maybe sort of saying they're going to be replaced?
Yeah.
And there's going to be bigger heroes sort of carrying on.
But it sounds, so like when you've just read that now, that sounded to me maybe that it's about your kind of Black Panther and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And is Shuri going to take over from him, you know, who picks up? Because I think, again, it's in the comic books that she takes over from him and stuff like that. It makes sense. She is a very, very good actress.
Yeah.
And her attitude and stuff. Can you imagine her having the responsibility of Black Panther as well as being sassy as hell in the process?
The thing
and
is,
so intelligent.
That's it. An absolute genius.
Because don't forget as well, we've lost intelligence in the process.
I know.
Vision's gone.
Yeah.
Tony's gone.
Yeah.
We've got Banner, but to what extent have we got Banner at the moment? Because that's still, we don't know at the minute, because Is he part Hulk? Is he just Banner? What's happening? Is he runs a bar? Is he just chilling out now? Like, do you know what I mean? We don't know where he's going to stand with it.
I'm still convinced we're going to have a Hulk running the bar and a Banner.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm starting to think more along those lines. But you're right. I mean, if she becomes a Black Panther, she is just going to be a force to be reckoned with. She's going to have all the brains and all the power.
Yeah.
And she is that perfect Marvel hero at the moment.
Yeah.
She's got the element of being goofy.
Yeah.
But she's the badass. But she's got the intelligence to add on, as I said. Yeah. She could be one of the, not the most powerful Avengers, clearly, because you've got like Captain Marvel and Wanda.
She could be a leader.
She could, yeah. Exactly. She could be a leader. And I think she'd be a cracking character to go forward with.
Definitely.
Should we do Podfans Assemble?
Let's do it.
Fans Assemble.
So I think with this, I'm gonna have to read it. You know, like when you watch the adverts with like medicine, and then it tells you about all the side effects that you can have at the bottom.
Yeah, really quickly. We're gonna have to have like a quick fire. Go.
So we're not gonna be able to comment on everything like too deeply, but
we'll comment on bits.
Yeah. Okay. Are we ready?
We are ready. Let's go.
So the poll was, you know what time it is, Wednesday, what if poll time? What did you think of this week's episode?
That's too quick.
I thought that was quite good though.
It was good though, I like that.
And drop us a comment for a shout out on this week's podcast. So 33% said loved it this time.
Yeah, I noticed this.
60% said it was okay.
That's the first time we've had it being weighted in the middle.
Yeah.
All series.
And then hated it was 7%, which is probably still one of the highest percentages we've had for hating it as well.
I think we've had anywhere between like 4 and 6 so far.
Yeah. So Sammy Sapanin said this Killmonger episode is the best one so far. Okay. Sparky Malarkey, still loving that name.
Love Sparky Malarkey.
It was a very interesting premise, but I think this episode, more than any other, has really shown how much of a detriment the short time allowance for each episode can be, which is exactly what you said.
Exactly what I said.
The episode lacked the satisfying finality of some of the previous episodes, 100%. Correlia Christina said, I kind of wonder if we got a glimpse of Black Panther Wakanda Forever in this episode, which is what we've just said about maybe the lead into. That funeral feels like the opening shot of the film.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
DeFran said, I'm sick of episodes ending open-ended. Finish the stories.
We're going to get it. We're going to get a finish.
Yeah, that's the thing. I get it because it is a bit unsatisfying, but at the same time, I don't think they're going to walk away from it either. I think they will come back to it, whether it's in Series 2 or what. They will.
Be Series 2. I don't know if I've got the energy for Series 2.
Keeper of the Sacred Flame said, disappointed, but the Watcher got some colour at least.
He did.
Yeah. Thomas Carter Rochester said, it was the least engaging story for me so far. Loved the interactions, voice acting and the overall plot. It just seemed too predictable, similar to the first episode. Question is, with 3 episodes left, how do these characters all meet like the promotional material show? It
better not be the last 10 seconds of the last episode. Fuming.
And they're called the variables. Could you imagine?
No, I don't want to.
GS Productions said good mix of Iron Man and Black Panther where neither overshadowed the other, and it was kind of refreshing to see them wind back the dark themes that were so present in episodes 3 to 5. Yeah. Sayo said, what if should always be dark? It's animation, you can go further with it, and the best so is still the Doctor Strange episode. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Elliot said it was okay, 3rd best one in my opinion. Wonder what his top 2 were.
Yeah,
that was no Elliot.
I think this is between. I'd probably put this in the bottom 2 with Captain Carter for me personally.
Yeah. Artie Baby said it was odd. It was just fine compared to the others. A little slow all around.
Oh, I don't think it was slow. It was too fast for me anyway.
Kids, what are we watching tonight? Said the most interesting what if so far. The ramifications for the MCU are massive, i.e. no Iron Man, so no Iron Snap. But I like that Killmonger's mission was the same: avenge the dad and take over Wakanda, which is what I said.
I love this. I love
how he got there changed. Yeah.
Like how much that would change.
Well, we've got no War Machine. We've got no Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like we've lost kind of nearly half of the team already. Alex said, to be honest, episode 3, 4 and 5 left me in awe, so I had really high expectations before watching the 6th episode. Sadly, it turned out to be an okay episode. Not bad, but also not good enough.
I agree with that.
Get it? Kenneth said, best episode so far. Felt like this could have really happened in the MCU and not just a what if. Thought it was fabulous to see Killmonger again. Also, seeing T'Challa in the astral plane with his ancestors, I cried like a baby.
Oh,
yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah. As soon as he turned from the panther in the tree, I was like, oh.
It was rough, but it was nice.
It was nice.
Do you know what I mean?
But have you... Again, and this is the thing where we talked about him knowing about him dying.
I know. Oh,
everything
it must have been hard.
Every episode that he's been in so far, he's said something so deep and profound.
I know.
And it's beautiful. Do you know what I mean?
Can you imagine Can you imagine working at Marvel and knowing that he was dying and watching him record that?
Oh, I don't think I could. Do you reckon they knew how...
Apparently they didn't. But I don't know. Somebody must have known.
Yeah.
God, can you imagine that?
I know.
Rough.
Glarp said, loved it. Was nice seeing what Killmonger could do if he didn't just bum rush Wakanda like in Black Panther.
It's an excellent point.
Rush. I've never heard that before and I love it.
Though.
My second favourite behind Strange Supreme and knocking zombies out of that spot. JJ Lee said, loved it until the end. Why did they have to end this amazing episode with a cliffhanger? Season better just be part 2s of all the cliffhangers because I can't take it anymore.
Nah, we'll find out at the end of this series. We better not.
Wes Saga said, made me feel funny. It was good, but I didn't like it.
I think that very, very well sums it up. That's
Yeah.
probably where I'm sitting.
Yeah. Blue Jay said, no real big shocks, but was entertained and invested, so I can't complain. I think that's how I felt.
What, you were entertained?
Yeah.
So you were alright with it?
Yeah.
Like Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
That's why I was like, I quite liked it. I enjoyed it for the action. I enjoyed it for the story as what it was.
Yeah.
I think it's just it's when we think too much about what was actually happening.
That's the point of Marvel. Marvel's so good because it's all intertwined and it all means something. So it's properly throwing me not having it mean something.
But then the whole title is What If?
I know.
So it doesn't have to be tied in because it's like, well, what if this random thing happened?
I know
I'm
wrong.
Peacemaker said, so I didn't love the movie Black Panther, so somehow this episode made me like Killmonger. This episode was really, really good though, and I have seen it 3 times. Second best episode so far, and I really want to know what happens next now.
Yeah. We'll find out.
Dimitri3 said, Killmonger saying, trust me, bro, and everyone falling for it for 30 minutes.
Apart from Pepper.
Yeah. But she's not a bro.
She's not a bro. No.
So Nathaniel then said, probably my least favourite so far, but still entertaining. I mean, to be fair, people are saying that they've not enjoyed it, but it has been entertaining. That's the thing. It's still a kind of a common theme. Lonely Piece of She, I don't know what the end of that is, says it's my 4th place right after the 2nd. We can only guess. 5th and 4th episodes. Always love seeing a story involving Wakanda and the late Chadwick Boseman, but the story felt a bit rushed. This felt like 2 episodes in one.
Yeah, spot on.
Jalen Mark said it was interesting, but I wish Erik was good in this timeline.
Yeah, I do. I want to see a good or reformed Killmonger.
Yeah, I just don't know if we'll get it.
I don't think we'll get it, but I want it.
John Kiss said, so Tony didn't just lose his Iron Man armour in this reality, but he also lost everyone's plot armour.
He did.
Stoney said, amazing as always, but the deaths in the episode were not okay. They didn't sit well with me. Also hoping for a part 2. I'm all here for a Shuri and Pepper team up.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Shuri's such a good character. She was good in this as well.
Pepper in the Iron Man suit with Shuri taking over as Black Panther.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Oh, that'd be so good.
I know, right?
Those 2 versus Killmonger.
Yeah.
Keep him as a baddie. Just for that.
Niz said, don't like the glaring time gap in this episode. Utterly Random Guy said, honestly didn't like it. I'd say 5th on my list. To go into a little detail, I felt that it sort of copied the Black Panther movie but tweaked some things. Personally thought it was a bit lazy.
I agree with the 5th favourite. I don't think it was the worst one. I think Captain Carter's still the worst one. Not that it was bad. It just wasn't my favourite. But yeah, I agree.
Andrew Beam said, I really didn't care for Killmonger as a villain in the Black Panther movie, but he was heavily improved here. It didn't feel as contrived of his plan as his plan in Black Panther, despite being more elaborate, and it was really entertaining. I hope they do the same with Ultron. Do you reckon they could save it though, with Ultron?
What, the series?
Like just a reintroduction of him, could they save it?
Yeah, I think they need to.
Oh, I saw a weird thing. I think it was on SNL again, and Elizabeth Olsen was doing like a romantic comedy with Ultron.
I've seen that.
Which was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
It was amazing.
Oh no, it wasn't Elizabeth Olsen, was it? It was Natasha.
It was Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
and they did it as like a rom-com.
Yeah,
and it was the weirdest thing.
It was boss
ever.
though.
It was funny, but it made me feel unsettled at the same time.
I enjoyed that. It's a good point that though. This is a good opportunity because Ultron wasn't done brilliantly.
No.
So this is an opportunity to have like a big scary Ultron. But I really hope that we get some of these back because with characters like Killmonger and Ultron, this multiverse is a brilliant opportunity to have that, to bring them back and do more with them than we should have in the first run.
Definitely. Shockwave said, fantastic, felt like watching an episode of Death Note. Now I've seen bits of Death Note.
Okay, I haven't. Thank God you've seen it.
It's quite dark.
Yeah.
Death Note. So
I think I've seen the trailer.
Yeah, I kind of see it, yeah. But I haven't watched Death Note enough to kind of be like, yes, do you know what I mean? Geeky Nate said, meh, to be honest. I found pacing slow and nothing special for a what if versus what we've seen so far, so there just wasn't a big payoff. Killmonger as the main villain will easily be defeated by the likes of Spider-Man, let alone the new heroes it hints at. I guess next week is Party Thor then.
I'm not convinced it's happening.
Carinato Leo said, I never got interested on Killmonger, but it was okay to watch it. Not the worst episode I've seen so far from the series. I'm never interested in villains. I prefer the good ones. Doc and Concept said, Tony Stark has died every episode since episode 3.
Yep.
But overall, solid episode and the return of my favourite MCU villain. Mike J said, I want to see this fleshed out in a film.
Yeah.
Ben said, without informing me beforehand, I thought it was about Tony helping Erik against Wakanda. Somehow I found all the characters in good what-if stories this time around, but Erik was just boring, argumentative war fetishist here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, it's always a mix of opinions, this, isn't it? I mean, I think it was the best bit of it, but you like what you like.
Erikin said, at this point, I just think What If is not for me. I thought that the episode was very boring and I'm just like a very bland meh episode. Like my initial reaction when I finished it was, why did I watch this? Also, I don't know if it's just me, but the animation in the episode was so bad. But again, I've seen so many people loving What If that it's probably just a me thing.
I was alright with the animation in this one. I think there's a few bits of the series that I've been not on board with the animation.
Yeah.
But I was alright with that. I'm completely with you though on it not being for you. I'm enjoying it as on the whole, but I feel like if you were more of a casual MCU viewer, you'd have dumped this two episodes
definitely
in. I don't think you'd have got what was episode with T'Challa was episode 2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think you'd have come back after that episode. As good as it was, I think it was it was quite out there.
Do you know what though? I felt like the first couple were a bit, and I don't think you've played this game, so I'm not sure you might know as well, but Borderlandsy with the animation.
No, I'm not seeing it. I'm not played it.
It's kind of like almost 3D, but it's the big thick outlines.
Yeah, cell shaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of looks a bit cheaper. Now with Borderlands it works because Borderlands is a mick take of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's a satire.
Yeah.
But with this I don't think it works, but I don't feel like it's as prominent now as it was at the beginning.
No, I don't. I feel like
the 3D is in, like the 3D techniques has increased more, and the shadows and stuff that they're putting on them and stuff like that, I think it's working a lot better now. That's just my opinion though. Creative Control said, on the level they have been producing, this was fairly average for me and my least favourite of the series so far. That is not to say it was bad, far from it.
Get that.
So it not bad, is least good.
Least good. Still good.
Still good.
Hang on. I was going to say best of a bad bunch, but that's not right.
No.
It's the other way around.
The worst of the best
good
bunch.
Yeah.
So then we've got a what if scenario from Geeky Nate, our patron.
I know this one. I'm looking forward to this.
What if Sony never signed the deal for Tom Holland in the MCU?
This is an epic what if scenario. And I think there'd be two different things happening. So I did a bit of research on this. So Tom Holland got cast as Spidey May 2015.
Yeah.
And Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield only came out in 2014.
Right.
So I feel like they've only bottled that story because they knew Marvel were sharing now.
Yeah.
And that's why they've gone down the Tom Holland route.
Right.
So I feel like it'd have two effects. Firstly, we'd maybe not still have Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, but we would have got Spider-Man 3.
Right.
We would have got the Amazing Spider-Man 3 with the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
Which, as much as I didn't like Amazing Spider-Man 2, that would have been amazing to see.
So was that where they were going with those? Because
So-
actually thinking about it, Rhino and
Yeah, and we saw all the
Electro,
kit,
yeah.
all like the gear at the end of this, at the end of number 2, didn't we?
yeah.
I think that's the way that they would have gone with that.
See, at that time though, when the Amazing Spider-Man was, I was nowhere near as clued up on a lot of stuff as I am now.
Yeah.
So think like that Sinister Six
Went straight
reference
over
would
the
have.
head. I think it would have gone over a lot of
my
people's
head.
heads, yeah, to be fair. But that would have been really interesting. The effect it would have had on the MCU, what would the MCU be like now without Spider-Man? I feel like we'd have pretty much the same story. We would have just found another protege for Tony.
Yeah.
Don't know who.
No.
It would have just been another young hero
Yeah.
for Tony to sort of, I was going to say groom, but
Way to make it weird.
that's not the right word. But do you know what I mean? I feel like it would have
Yeah,
kept the same general story.
Yeah.
Because these things are planned out years in advance with Marvel.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige said they've got like 5 to 10 years planned in advance. And with Amazing Spider-Man 2 coming out in 2014 and them only signing Tom Holland in 2015, they didn't have that specific thing planned. I think they just had a general, Tony's going to end up being a mentor to somebody.
Yeah.
So I don't know who they would have gone
Marvel
down the
have
route
turned
of.
up with some sort of like business plan going, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, it would have just been another young Marvel character for him to
Yeah.
sort of train and mentor. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that would have stayed pretty much the same. But I would have been excited to see Amazing Spider-Man 3. As bad as number 2 was, I think that would have been good to watch. Might have been a crap film.
I must admit though, mate, like I wasn't a massive fan of Jamie Foxx's character.
No, I wasn't.
I wasn't
completely
won over by it, so I'm really hoping with him being in it, if it's a variation, they've
studio
really,
interference, mate.
Yeah.
Just studio interference. Hopefully this one's going to be a variant, because I want Norman Osborn from Tobey's universe,
Yes.
and I want Octavius from Tobey's universe. I'm all right with the Lizard as well if we are getting the
Yeah.
Lizard, but we need a different Electro.
Yeah,
We need a variant.
yeah.
Let him stay dead. Jamie Foxx is brilliant. but
Jamie
that
Foxx is brilliant.
character
I've seen him in a lot of
was
things that I've
garbage.
really enjoyed.
Yeah.
But you could just tell, that there was a lot of interference with it.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to see that version of him again. So then we've actually got Hawkeye trailer thoughts as well.
We do.
So Jones2552 said, I'm interested in it. I'm looking forward to it. I can't say the same for any more What If until at least they pick up on a storyline and expand upon it in the series. Say Captain Carter and the Lost Avengers. Spoiler-free name for it.
Yeah, it probably wasn't. Yeah, I get it. I'm still with What If, but as we said, I'm slowly losing interest.
Yeah.
But Hawkeye looks boss.
Yeah.
I agree.
Laura Cunningham said, it all looked epic. I'm 10,000% down for Rogers the Musical.
I need to
my
watch
God.
that. I need to see that. I want a soundtrack and a 15 to 30 minute.
I want to play Hulk.
You just want to be Hulk.
I'll play Hulk in the
Ring
musical
Disney.
version.
Ring Disney. Do it.
I'm gonna get angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. That's just a taste.
I didn't expect that.
Jess Barry, haven't heard from you in a while.
We haven't, have we?
As if I wasn't already looking forward to Christmas. Now this has just added to it. Totally different from what I was expecting, but in a good way. Roll on the festive season
I
with
agree.
a laughing emoji.
And lovely to hear from you, Jess.
Really good to hear from you again, Jess. Erikin, Hawkeye looks spectacular. I really think it's going to get very good reception. Yeah, agree.
Yeah, totally. Cannot wait for that.
We Needed Roads podcast said Jeremy Renner is Bruce Willis in Hawkeye. No, I Die. I mean, Die I. Oh, I even got it wrong. I Die. Oh, God.
It's written down for you.
I know.
Quality. What did he say at the end?
He then said, Die Hawkeye, die. Oh, right, now I'm not being funny. Now you're just trying to wind me up. I'm glad I took a break in between.
Right? Did you read it right?
Yeah?
Yeah, good.
Die Hawkeye, die.
Genius.
That's really funny, that. Fair play. Nathan said, this was everything I wanted. Nice mix of comedy and action. Some more world building with callbacks to Hawkeye during the blip. Also, I want to see Rogers the Musical in full.
Yes, we need it.
I think this is like a general consensus.
There's like at least 4 of us that have asked for that now, Disney.
Let's
just do
start
it.
a petition.
Just do it.
I'm going on change.org.
Do it. That's it, yeah. That's the first thing I want to sign. Do it, yeah.
Kevin, phase rhymes with beige. Come on, help us out. And that's it. That's all of them.
That's us. We got through it, Anthony. Should we do the wrap up then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right. Thank you guys for all of you getting in touch for Podfans Assemble. We really appreciate it. Thanks as well for listening to the show. And don't forget to come back next week for our review of What If Episode 7. Will it be Party Thor? Is there a Party Thor episode? No idea. Who is Party Thor? Why is Party Thor?
I'll do you one better.
It's not going to happen.
Why is Party Thor?
It's never going to happen this episode. You can find all our episodes at thatsuperherothing.com, along with all of our social media links. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. On the website, you can also sign up for our email newsletter where you receive new episode alerts and news on upcoming shows. You can contact us on any of our socials and submit thoughts and theories for next week's Podfans Assemble too. If you have enjoyed the show, please do consider rating and reviewing the show on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. It does really help us out massively, get seen by more people.
Hulk song will be available on iTunes.
Don't promise that, Anthony.
No, I'm joking.
If you would also like to support the show, you can at thatsuperherothing.com/Patreon, and you can become a patron, where you'll get extra episodes and bonus content and access to the Discord server where we chat to you guys and where you can listen to the episode live, as we've got a couple of the patrons listening as we speak.
Yep.
Patron shouts, we've got Geek and 8, we've got Kenneth, we've got Keeper of the Sacred Flame, and we've got Stephanie. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
For
Thanks,
supporting
guys.
the show. It means loads. Other than that, though, I think that's us.
Yeah.
Is that us for this week?
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys.
I'm still not convinced we get. I was about to say we're definitely getting Party Thought, but we're not. It's not happening. Thanks very much, guys, for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.